People are horrible and pathetic at times. Well, I mean, I hate to say it, Starlight, but nothing's really... it's hard for me to say exactly why it happened because I can't read anybody's mind. But I've long suspected that a lot of it was more about the fact that John Lasseter was the head of Pixar. And when people saw that he was vulnerable, like they had a way to get rid of him, they used that opportunity, not because they necessarily didn't like him or thought he was a horrible person, but because they were like, oh, here's my chance to move up in the company. Maybe if he's gone, I could not necessarily take his job, but I might be able to work out a way where I can move in and I'll have an opportunity to move to a higher position because somebody else will get promoted to take over his position and then their position will be available. And it's Hollywood, fundamentally. It is the scumbag attitude of a lot of people in Hollywood, which is they'll say they're your best friend to your face, but as soon as they have the opportunity to stab you in the back so that their career can improve, well, that's how you get the Amber Heard situation. Where, you know, or what's even a better example than Amber Heard? Although she's a really good example because everybody knows about that since it just recently happened. A day off to give yourself time to do other things. Yeah, I've thought about it, but I just don't know. Because again, it's not like I don't have time to do things. You know, like maybe if I just got like 5 hours of sleep instead of 8 or 6. Maybe if I do this thing or this thing, maybe, I don't know. Oh, well, that guy's not here anymore. Okay. I don't know. I'm not gonna lie. I sometimes worry that I'm gonna kill myself from working too hard. But then again, I also go, you're sitting down playing video games for a majority of the day. Now, granted, I'm also talking and trying to make an entertaining show. But, okay, is there a way to get, how do I get, oh, no, oh, don't shoot at me. Okay, how do I get my butt over there so I can get that item? Is there a door? Do I drop down? I don't see a way to drop down from that rampart up at the top. Do 2 short streams a week and use the extra time to work on behind the stream stuff. You enjoy us annoying you. I mean, I have to admit, I've had a good time talking to all of you. I mean, if you even want to really call this talking. Okay. Oh, hi. How about this? How about this? How about I just murder you both? Is that a good idea? Is that something you two would be okay with? Wait, is that... No, darn it. I thought that was a hole I could go into. It is true. Maybe I need to give myself a second short day when the stream is only 5 hours long. Maybe. Enjoys me the most. I'm not sure. Just a feeling. Shut up, no Nito. Oh, I'm so sorry. I meant no Nito. Please shut up. Hi. What are you guys doing? Hi. How you doing there, buddy? Yeah, I know. Okay, so, I mean... Do I want to figure out how to get over to that. You know what? Eat it. Yum, yum, yum. Not a lot, but eat it. Cool. Salmon corpse. Thank you. As for you, sir. Yeah, I know. Shoot, I shouldn't do that. I forgot. I'm here looking for items. Or start farming for items. Can't just be throwing people off the side. Speaking of... Get by! Go! Pluto! Call the rocks! Good job, rocks. Can I cut these? No. We got this. Soldiers load this. We got this. Okay. How am I supposed to? How do I get over there? I just don't know. I want to know. It would be a grand old thing if I knew, but I just don't know. And now you're dead. Are you No, sir. That's not cool. Okay, Dragon, why don't you come over here, Dragon? Okay. Hi. Where's the dragon? Dragon! Are you... Dragon? Dragon! Hello? Dragon? Dragon, are you not showing up? Owie! Sir. No. There was not a Labyrinth Part 2. Although, if you are interested in a quasi-sequel to Labyrinth, there was actually a set of Labyrinth mangas that got released. I don't know if it actually originated from Japan or if it was one of those American mangas that came out in like the mid to early 2000s. But they made, I think it was Tokyo Pop was the company that put these out. But it was not just a Labyrinth manga series, but there was a Dark Crystal Labyrinth series as well, or manga series as well. So that's how I came across them, because I'm a big fan of the Dark Crystal. So when I found out there was a Dark Crystal manga, and back then we thought, well, this is the only Dark Crystal material we're ever gonna get. I mean, it's not like they're gonna make a Netflix series and then cancel it. Dragon? No, dragon still isn't coming. Is this like Game of Thrones, when we were all waiting for the dragons to show up? And then the dragon never showed up? So yeah, maybe there isn't a dragon. Hey, buddy. Hey, how you doing? I'm just gonna sneak up behind you here. Okay. Who else? Who else wants a piece of me? Come on. Oh, come on. Those bolts are going right through his body. That ain't cool. It's cool, however, how I stabbed him in the back and just kind of twisted the blade so that the wound would open up and you would bleed out even faster. That was very cool. Very cool. Ow! It was worth it. I think what's really disappointing about the Game of Thrones ending is they could have done it better. It was there. Like, I know a lot of people didn't like the Game of Thrones ending purely because they didn't want Daenerys to go evil. They wanted her to be the ruler, or like the good ruler, and they wanted her to break the wheel, and they wanted her to like, you know, be the good guy. She wanted to be the hero. But I actually really like the concept of, yeah, you're supposed to be rooting for her. You're supposed to be on her side, because that way, when she goes nuts at the end, you feel the exact same way as Tyrion, as Jon Snow, and everybody else that believed in her. Because, I mean, let's face it, this is something that happens in real life all the time, and it's one of the reasons why Game of Thrones is so heavily inspired by Dune, the book series, and, well, now a major motion picture. I'm not going to say this is a spoiler for Dune, because I don't know if they're going to make a bunch of Dune movies, or if they're just going to make a movie based upon the first book, because the movie that came out last year, they're basically splitting the first book into 2 parts. So last December, we got part 1. We're going to get part 2 in like a year or so. But it's still the first book. So what I'm saying right now, it's not a spoiler for the movie, because this doesn't happen in the movie. But, and they also kind of say this is what's going to happen in the first movie anyway. There's that scene in the movie where, hopefully some of you have seen Dune, where Paul Atreides is in that tent with his mother, and they've escaped the bear, and they're on the run, and Paul Atreides has a vision or a dream, and he says there are armies spreading across the galaxy, burning planets, killing millions, and they're doing it in my father's name, in my name. It's an army. It's like it's a sea of skulls at my feet. Blah 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 blah. And what they are alluding to in that movie is that Paul sees. He doesn't just see the future. He sees all the futures. He sees multiple possibilities in the futures. And one of the futures that he's seeing right then and there is that if he wins and takes control of the planet Dune, he will become so powerful with the Fremen, the desert people, on his side, that he could just go through the galaxy, the universe, and just take over the universe. And it won't be and he won't do it with like peace and love and like, oh, we're all gonna live in harmony. He's like, no, I will be an emperor. I will swarm over the entire world, the entire galaxy, the entire universe, and I will kill millions, and I will take over the universe. I will take over the galaxy, one system at a time, until I rule everything. And it won't be pretty when I do it. There'll be a lot of dead people. And that's basically what happens with Daenerys Targaryen at the end of Game of Thrones, where if you go back and you rewatch that series, she keeps on talking about like, I'm going to rule, everybody's going to kneel, etc., etc., etc. And if you rewatch that series, or quite frankly, if you reread the books with that mindset of like, no, she's going to kill everybody that gets in her way, and she will burn cities to the ground to rule. Everything that she ever said, every promise she ever made, has a new context to it. When you suddenly realize, I'm like, oh my goodness, she was always crazy. She was always a mad woman. And I just didn't want to believe it. I didn't see it because I wanted to believe in somebody. I wanted to believe that she was going to go in and she was going to fix everything and she was going to change the system and she was going to do all of that. but she wasn't gonna do it with all the bloodshed and everything that she feels is necessary to do it. And that heartbreak, that sinking feeling that all those characters in that series felt when they suddenly realized, like, I put everything I believe in behind a psychopath because it's Ted Bundy, it's Stalin, it's Mao, it's Fidel Castro. Some of the greatest dictators and most horrible, disgusting monsters in human history got to a position of power because they were able to make people believe in them. And it's a really important lesson to keep telling people over and over and over again, because we keep falling for it. It keeps happening where people just put all their belief and all their hopes and dreams behind a person. Like, if I just believe in this politician, this celebrity, this guru, this whatever, this time it'll all work out. It never works out. It never works out. But anyway, that's a really good story to tell. And they didn't do it in Game of Thrones. They crapped the bed to bring it back to Amber Heard. They just crapped the bed. And that's why Game of Thrones has now gone down in history as one of the biggest disappointments in television history. Game of Thrones lost. I'm sure other people have other examples, because, you know, it's not how you start, it's how you finish. Because that's the last thing you're going to remember. It doesn't matter how good your appetizer and your main course was. If the dessert is just hot garbage, that's what you're gonna write your Yelp review about. Like, this meal was absolutely horrible, because that's gonna be the last taste in your mouth. That's what you're gonna be tasting when in the cab or the ride home, or when you get home and you're like, I have to eat something else to get the taste out of my mouth. Let's see. What a disappointing ending. Did you just finish it? It was trash. No, I watched it as it came out. I'm just still dissatisfied with the last season. New or old Dune? I've seen the old Dune, haven't watched the new one yet. Oh my goodness, Starlight, you haven't seen the new Dune? Dune, last year's Dune, it's just like when I talk about my favorite video game. I'm like, oh, well, my favorite video game of all time is BioShock, but if I could only take one video game with me onto a desert island, I would play Civilization, because I could just play that over and over and over again.
Weapons for you.
So just like that, my favorite movie of the year is, if I say my favorite movie of the year from a purely like technical, dramatic, like art style of just like, this is quality cinema. This is pushing the art form forward. This is like, the people that worked on this believed in it. They put their best foot forward. Everybody showed up for 110%. Like, this is a good movie. That's Dune. I really, really liked Dune last year. However, if you're going to talk about the movie I can just watch over and over and over again and never get sick of it, well, that's Malignant. That's James Wan's Malignant. That's a trashy horror film, which is just so stupid. It's amazing. Where even I have Nonito here in the chat, who says, like, I don't like horror movies. I think horror movies are stupid. I remember one day, who knows what game I was playing. Nonito was in the chat. He's like, dude, I'm watching this Malignant movie that you recommended. It's so stupid. It's so boring. I'm like, well, what part are you at? And I was like, well, I'm at this part. I'm like, okay. Just keep your opinions to yourself. Wait until the scene. I'm like, what? He's like, well, what scene? I'm like, you'll know when you get to the scene. And then he gets to the scene. He's like, my opinion is completely changed. You were right. This is amazing. I'm like, yeah, thank you. Now you get it. See, I like the new Dune. Yeah, I really like the new Dune. I freaking love BioShock. I miss it. Honestly, my husband used to play it. I was like, trashy campy horror. One of the reasons why I've been kind of holding off on playing BioShock on this stream, because I'm going to play BioShock on this stream at some point, but again, I want to put it closer to. We don't know when this is happening, but 2K, they're the company. They're the video game company. They own the rights to BioShock, and they have said, like, for the last 2 years, there is a team working on BioShock 4. What is it going to be? What type of a game is it going to be? They have. Bum's the word. They're keeping it very hush-hush, and good for them, because I want to be surprised. I don't want leaks. I want to watch, like, the Game Awards this year in December. And there's, oh, shoot, I always forget the guy's name. The guy who hosts the Game Awards. But anyway, I want to see him up there just like, hey, here's best dramatic score. Here's best game of the year. By the way, we have one more trailer for you. It's gonna blow your socks off. It's going to BioShock your socks off. And then they play the trailer, and I lose my mind because I didn't know it was coming. I didn't know anything about it, and then I just get to see something with everybody else and just let it wash over me. Something I've sometimes thought about doing on this stream is making a stream that isn't me playing a video game, but kind of doing one of those reaction streams where I have the Game Awards or some conference or something like that up, and we all watch it together. For one, so like when something exciting happens, you can see me get excited, but what is more likely when something happens that everybody else gets excited for, and I go, okay. No, I mean, I'm glad you're happy, but guys, seriously, this is stupid. Firewatch 2, who was asking for this? Who was asking for this? Why aren't you making the original one? I mean, Firewatch 1, I mean, it was good, but do we need a sequel to Firewatch 1? No. Make something else. Make something else. Wait. It was great. Wait, Bob Vila? Tony Danza? What are you talking about, Nodito? I don't know anything about BioShock. It will be a new story for me when you play. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. And that's one of the main reasons why I want to play it. Because I don't just... It's not just the fact that I've replayed BioShock like 10 times. But you can't... I'll have to take a picture of it. Because I don't think I can bring all of it in here. But in my bedroom, just one wall over from here, I have a shelf. A shelf that I built that I have like little LED lights built into it, blah, blah, blah. It's basically my little BioShock shrine, where I have all my BioShock merchandise. I don't have every piece of merchandise that's ever come out, because I ain't spending like $300 on a Big Daddy statue or a Little Sister statue. I would like to. If I had the money, I would. I really would, because they're great. But I have everything that I could get my hands on, which is affordable, on a little shrine out there, which lights up at night. I love it. I read the book Rapture, that based off of BioShock. Obviously, I've played all the games. To give you a hint of what BioShock is about, Remake, it is heavily influenced. It's an alternate history sci-fi dystopian past story that is heavily influenced by the author and philosopher Ayn Rand. And Ayn Rand is the one who probably didn't start, but really promulgated and influenced the mentality and the theory of objectivism. And she wrote the book, the Fountainhead and Atlas Shrugged. And hopefully you've heard of Atlas Shrugged, because it is an incredibly influential book. Really, really influential book. But anyway, the reason why I bring that up is I was such a hardcore BioShock fan. When I found out that a lot of that game's philosophy was based upon this author, I read those books just so I could further understand where the creators and the makers of BioShock were coming from. I'm not a huge fan of Atlas Shrugged. Having said that, I was like, man, this book is really long, and there's a whole speech in there. It's the most famous part of the book, but man, I'm not gonna lie. I was listening to it on books on tape, I almost fell asleep during that speech. I was just the girl. She's just the author. She's giving her whole spiel. And I'm like, I did not come here for a sermon. Tell me your story. Tell me your story. But anyway, I don't know anything about rants. LOL. There's always rants. It's interesting. Love the art. We have a Visit Rapture poster on our wall. Oh, I mean, so do I. I have. I mean, let me just grab this right here. It's out. Getting up. Getting up. Ow. 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 I mean, this is the one I can grab because it was right there on the right height. But like here's something. Now this was actually a part of the BioShock 2 Collector's Edition. Because, yeah, again, I was such a big fan of BioShock 1 that I bought the Collector's Edition of BioShock 2 in BioShock Infinite. Like, those ones that are like $150 that come with all the kit and caboodles and things like that. I would have bought the Collector's Edition of BioShock 1, but, which was really funny, they didn't have one. The game just came out as the base game, and it was so incredibly popular that they made a collector's edition after the fact that didn't even come with the game, because they were like, everybody already owns the game, so like, here's the collector's edition, and it sold out immediately. I was not able to get my hands on it. Also, admittedly, I didn't play BioShock 1 when it first came out. It was, I think I even borrowed it. I borrowed it from somebody else, my brother-in-law, because I still remember the first time I played BioShock. It wasn't even the actual BioShock. I played the demo. Remember those kids? Remember when they put demos for video games out? Because of this exact circumstance that I went through. I didn't know anything about BioShock. I didn't care. All I knew was there's a game coming out called BioShock. And I'm like, yeah, fine, whatever. There's a bunch of games coming out. Why is this one special? So it was Thanksgiving of the year that BioShock came out. I don't remember what year it was, but it was Thanksgiving Day. I had the day off from work or school or whatever I was. And Thanksgiving lunch, dinner isn't quite ready yet. And my brother-in-law comes in. He's like, have you played the demo for BioShock yet? I'm like, no, I don't care. He's like, get on your Xbox 360, download the demo. So I did it. He's like, play this before we have Thanksgiving dinner. So I start the demo, and I'm not going to tell you anything that happened. But my opinion and attitude flipped completely, 180. I became obsessed with this, and I was just like, there was a point in that demo where my jaw literally dropped, where I saw something so beautiful and so mesmerizing and incredible. I had never seen anything as gorgeous as a complete art world-building thing, where I was just like, this is incredible. I have been emotionally impacted by this thing that has been, it's the first like 15-20 minutes of the game. I was like, I can't believe I'm seeing what I'm seeing. And my brother-in-law was just like, I'm buying this game. And I'm like, as soon as you're done, you're letting me borrow it. He's like, yeah, don't worry about that. We have a Visit Rapture. Okay, Brocky, I'm going to go head out and out. So go show my homie Zombie some love. Thanks for the stream. Have a good night. Yeah, you're right. It's admittedly, it's 8:15. I went on my rant. I went on my BioShock rant. I went on my whatever rant, my Game of Thrones rant. And, well, the stream went 15 minutes longer than it normally does. But hey, get me talking. I'm going to talk your ear off. I think most of you already know that. But, everyone, thanks very much for hanging out with me today. This has been Demon Souls. We got far. I mean, I don't know how far, but we got far. Didn't die as many times as I did in Elden Ring the first time I played that. Not at all. So, we're going to be back here tomorrow at 12 o'clock Eastern Standard Time for another 8-hour stream. And tomorrow is For Honor Friday the 13th by Daylight, where we play 4 hours of For Honor, 2 hours of Friday the 13th, and then 2 hours of Dead by Daylight, which I hear there's an event going on right now. Something like a ghost event. And supposedly, it's double blood points and login bonuses. So, honestly, I'm going to log in sometime tonight just to see if that's true and get my bonus if that's the case. So, for everyone who stopped by, thanks very much for hanging out with me today. Once again, I mean, thanks for all the bits and the subs. Even though you just did it to Watch me die. The hype train. Yes, I know it's low. I'm giving my goodbyes, controller. Thank you. But anyway, thanks very much for hanging out with me, everybody. I'll see you here tomorrow, but until then, stay safe, stay sane, and most importantly, vibe out.